Hey everyone, welcome back to Saturday Mornings to Toy Tunes, the weekly live stream, usually here on my channel, in which we talk about, gather around our iPhone monitors and computer screens and talk about everything that happened in the Weekend Geek. Sometimes. Usually I just sit around here and play with action figures while finding out what you guys are up to. And that's probably what's going to happen today, because I've got not one but two action figures to pose up. Koska Reeves and Bo-katan Quiles from The Mandalorian by Hot Toys. I had to break them out and try to use them for a recent video, the IG-12 video, which I think is live. Pretty sure I didn't just spoil something. No, I think everything I've got here is already out. It's just delayed. Sometimes Hot Toys doesn't give me these things until after everybody else has them. Oh, which sometimes is an issue, but usually, whatever, we make it work. How's everybody doing? What else is going to happen today? I'm probably going to jabber on a little bit about Agatha. But mostly, I think I'm just interested in what you guys want to talk about. So anybody who has questions out there, feel free to bring them up in the chats. And it may raise a topic of conversation. I have to keep this as short as possible today because I have a lot to do. Mostly financial stuff. The divorce is moving forward and I've got to gather I've got to fill out all kinds of forms and questionnaires and legal things and what have you. It's a damn nuisance. But hopefully everything comes out in the wash and we come to terms on division of assets and all that other crap. Those of you who've been through divorce know what I'm talking about here. But anyway, enough about that. I'm just going to go ahead and move right on into finding out who's here. First of all, I'm going to check to make sure I'm actually live, and yes, I am, which, you know, failing to go live does sometimes take place. Where's the comments? There they are. This isn't going to take any time at all. That's great. Let's see, we got Bitter Troll here. Awesome. What's up, dude? Garrett is here. Hey, Garrett. I think I've seen you here before in the recent weeks, right? Like 2 weeks ago? Which was actually the last time that I had a live stream, because last week I just slept in and was just like, no, I'm not going to do a noon live stream. That's just stupid. Saturday morning noon tunes? No? Saturday noon morning tunes? Whatever. Laura Quiles is here. What's up? Oh my god, I totally didn't go into... Laura Quiles made me think of this, of all people, but why did I not go into the poser posse to try to find awesome poses from people? I know there were some out there. Not many, but there were some. Steve Nara's here from Virginia Beach. What's going on, dude? Good to see you. Nelson Mendoza. Still love that name, man. Welcome back. Good to see you. And Universal Key is also here. Yeah, I don't know. I think Koska's kind of basic. I know that she's pretty and badass and everything, but I don't know. She's got that... She naturally brings a UFC vibe to her character, which I don't give a damn about UFC and all the bullshit posturing that goes along with it. And that's kind of what I see in her, so I'm just like, yeah, it's cool. I'm sure there are a lot of Koska, whatever her name is, Sasha something or other. I'm sure there are a lot of fans of hers out there that were just thrilled, but I'm just like, all right. Anybody could have done that part. Commander Green is here. What's up, dude? Yeah, we'll talk about that later. I'm not going to talk about that now, because I've got things to do. Rob Perisho, did I already say your name? I feel like I already said your name. It's probably because I've said it so many times. And I think we've interacted on Facebook this week, so you're kind of fresh in my mind. Keith Lee is also here. I'm guessing on a treadmill or something similar. It's Saturday morning, after all. My breakfast tacos were amazing, my friend. My breakfast tacos are really good. I use the recipe that Robert Rodriguez showcased in his 10-minute cooking school on the DVD for Sin City. It's kind of like Migas, a little Tex-Mex attitude going with it. It's really, really good. Only the one thing I don't do is I don't make my own tortillas because I just don't have the time, and or even the skills or the lard, because the way he does tortillas, he uses actual lard. So I've done it once and they were amazing. Best tortillas I've ever had, let alone made. But yeah, so if you have access to lard and you should try experimenting with that in your cooking, because it really does take stuff next level. But then so does bacon grease, and well, I'm too old to be eating bacon grease. Wow, yeah, you do. Wow. I'm actually surprised that you have axe. I'm not surprised about Bo-katan, but yeah, I'm surprised you went that far, Marvel guy. Good job on the no articulation section of the first look videos. Do you like that? Thank you. Thank you, Morning Light Mountain, and welcome back to the show. I haven't seen you here in a while. But yeah, it's the direction is to kind of do things, do whatever we can to shorten the first looks, get them down into a shorter runtime. And I think that helped a lot, while also showing the goal is in the brief 1.5 clips that you get during that section to show key points in the articulation where it might really matter. If it's something extraordinary, we want to show it off. And even if it's something that might be limited, I want to show that off too. I think there was one that I did recently where the range of motion in the knee was only about 90 degrees. So I want people to see that. So the end game is that we want to get you as much of the information as we can in a much more condensed time frame. So yeah, I know that there was at least one comment in one of the videos asking us to go back to the other, but I don't think that that's going to happen, and I don't think that it needs to happen. Believe it or not, it takes a long time just to script that, because I have to sit here on my desk, and I legitimately have like a compass, sort of like a measure, like a thing here on my cutting pad that shows different angles. That's how I determined what the actual angles are. That reminds me, there was actually another comment where somebody was like, "Dude's talking like I'm actually supposed to know what degrees are." I'm like, well, should have paid attention in grade school, buddy. Come on. Anyway. Did I miss Ren's Tolentino? Oh, I did. What's up, dude? Sorry for that. Sometimes these things skip around. I look so much like Jesus. No, I don't. Jesus wasn't white. Come on. Get over it. No, I don't look like Jesus. If you would have said Gandalf, I would have deferred to that. That would have been fine. But no, I don't look like Jesus. Not all white dudes look like Jesus. Come on. I'm sorry, not all long-haired dudes look like Jesus. Both things are true. Both things are true, let's be fair. All right, let's see here. Lane Kramer has a mouthful to say here. Hey there, Mr. Terry. Love the unboxing of tech. You have me ready to get that figure. I'm going to pick up She-Hulk from the LCS after one I ordered from someone got sent back to them. If you liked the unboxing of tech, you're going to love the unboxing of Moff Gideon. I had a lot of fun with that, and I got accolades from my supervisor on that one too. He was pretty happy with me. Said a couple things in the narration that I think other people took offense to. I don't want to say offense, but I was asked not to say certain things ever again. So if that's not a teaser to watch the Moff Gideon figure, which is a great figure and has an amazing portrait, which is still on my desk out here actually. Which, like, legitimately one of the best portraits that I've ever seen from Hot Toys, or anyone for that matter. It's so spot on. And when you really go crazy with his eyes, I am live articulating Moff Gideon's eyes here with my finger. No, what do you call it required? No tool required. Let's see if that works. Let's see. But when you're really given that attitude, then it just pops, man. It's just so cool. Can I get closer? I see. Wow, for some reason it's not fully focusing. Mike Sorensen is not here to give me shit for having an Apple product. Oh, yo, that wasn't that good. That was not quite good enough. I'm getting really good with the eyes. Yeah, when they first started coming in, all these different figures with opposable eyes, I was really frustrated. It was there was definitely a learning curve, and I need new glasses. I'm so far behind in getting a new prescription for my eyes, and I can't really see what I'm doing half the time. So yeah, just in the interest of getting things back on track and churning out videos in a much more timely fashion. Because way too often I'll shoot a clip and I think I've got the eyes right, but then I get it in here and I start editing. I'm like, no, that eye drifted, or I just didn't have it spot on in the first place. But they're tough. Are you guys having issues with that, or is everybody else pretty happy with how they're able to work with the rotating eyes function? I'm a massive fan of it now. I think that it adds so much to the performance of the figures, and I'm so grateful to Hot Toys for doing that. And I hope they keep it up. You were sick. I hate to hear that. Yeah, were we gonna get together this weekend? I got to get her food, right? And also I've got to potentially meet with you guys and go to IKEA. I don't know why. I probably won't do that. For those who wonder what we're doing on IKEA, the plan is for like, you know, me and Keith to like test like various couches in IKEA to see how comfortable they are to like make out on, and Allie's gonna film it all. I made that up. My heart can't handle bacon grease. I am trying to eat healthier. Yeah, same, yo. Same. Says the guy who just had a jelly donut with Frank's hot sauce on top of it. But it's the weekend. I'm going to treat myself. Has Sideshow's Cad Bane been released? Has it? Yeah. That's legitimately not my department, my friend. I don't, I'm not part of that conversation, and I don't, unless it's, even when things are shipping to me, I don't really know until after people start getting them. As a Sideshow employee, I usually don't get my figures until after everybody else does. As far as Cad Bane being released, I know that they just dropped the first look for it, so if you didn't catch that, check it out. I don't know if that means... I know what it means when it's a Hot Toys figure. We do the first looks when Hot Toys starts to ship their figures from China. So that, in the case of people who order from Sideshow, when the first look drops, when Hot Toys announces the release of a figure, Sideshow's allotment has to get on a slow boat from China and make its way across the Pacific, sit in line at a harbor, Los Angeles Harbor, or the Port of Los Angeles, or whatever you want to call it, for however long until they get their place in the queue. And then it has to be unpacked, organized, put onto trucks, driven to Sideshow, and once it gets to Sideshow, it's a rapid turnaround. Those guys have a system down there that's so impressive. It's like, if they have a sold-out figure and it arrives at the warehouse, then within 2 days they're all out the door, and it's a slick system. They're genuine pros. So the wait is not, anytime that you see people, oh, I don't want to be so unkind as to say whining or even bitching, concerned that their figure is taking so long to ship after Hot Toys announces it. It's not on Hot Toys and it's not on Sideshow. There's legitimately nothing that either of those companies can do about it. When Hot Toys gets it right out the door, the day of. Sideshow, once it gets to their door, they turn it around in 2 days. And it's all things in between, man. It's all things in between. AJ Agrusa is just passing through. Leave your beard. We don't need you. Yeah, I have, like I said, many tasks to do today, so. Echoing the great job on the first look videos. I thank you. Yeah, I do think it's better. I was not enamored with the idea at first, and then I recognized that how much time it was going to save me. Figuring out how to edit it in an attractive way was the biggest challenge, but now that I've got that established, then it's just like bam, 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 bam. And basically the narration is just copy-paste. I might make some tweaks here and there. I've got to change the names, obviously, and all sorts of things, but for the most part, it's just really, it's much easier now for me. And I generated a record number of videos this week. I think I did easily 5 videos this week. And first look videos take some time. Sometimes they've taken, if it's an Iron Man figure that's given me problems, it's taken me as long as like 2.5 days to get one done. But yeah. I do look like hippie Magneto. That's true. That's true. In fact, David Igo, who used to be the art director at Sideshow, when I first went white, when I let my gray roots grow out and shaved my head and came out silver, I had walked in the room and he was like, freaking Magneto! So that's another cosplay I should consider. Big Dog Pound is here, the notorious BDP. What's up, dude? Yeah, they really are on fire. Hot Toys is, and I really, it really pains me because I at this point I can't afford them anymore, nor do I have room for any more. It's but it's still nice to be able to. That's one of the great aspects about my job, is that I no longer really have to feel the need to buy every figure, because I have them in the house here usually for at least 2 or 3 days, sometimes 2 or 3 weeks or even longer in some cases. Just having them hang out and wait for other figures to arrive that I can cross promote them with. Knock Nevis is here. What's up, dude? So is Mike Games. Welcome. Marlon Braswell. Good to see you. Yeah, you know what? I did not order Moff Gideon, and almost immediately after opening the figure, I regretted it. I knew it was going to be cool, but again, I'm just being careful about how much I spend money on these things, especially right now, because as I understand it, I'm not even gonna say it. Not even gonna say it. People may be watching. Oh, that was a pretty cool figure. I mean, it wasn't my bag, but Joker fans are gonna love it. Great portrait. Interesting concept. I think this one was far more posable than the Ben Affleck version. Or not. Yeah, was the Ben Affleck version? Yeah, the Ben Affleck version of Imposter Joker. With I want to say it was a Jared Leto head sculpt. Is that right? I think so. But yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed posing him on the Bat Pod. I thought that was a lot of fun. And I think that got a pretty good response, if I'm not mistaken. My mistake. Okay, yeah, I will see your couch and raise you the bedroom section. All right, fair enough. I've done a few of those on my own channel. So if you're just interested to see how it looks, then yeah, I'm trying to. I know there's a stick of stray hair. It's bugging me. Is it bugging you? Anyway, yeah, it's they're fun. They're challenging to do that kind of a thing. But I think I've literally done unboxings of a sort for every one of the statues that I have in here, with the possible exception of Black Suit Spider-Man. I don't think I ever did one of him. And I don't think I ever got around to doing one of Silver Surfer. But pretty much everything else. Yeah, if I got a statue, I did an unboxing of it on my channel. So there's a lot there. What's this, Keith? Rotating eyes at another level of posing? Yeah, man, it's so many times I was like, oh, if it's like when you've got you're trying to do like a side fire. You got a guy aiming down like his straight arming to the left in this case, what I'm doing right here, and you're trying to get that eye line, that straight ahead eye line, aiming right down the sights. It just doesn't work. You need those eyes to be able to shift to do that, and yeah, it's just having that option. It makes me so happy now. Obi-Wan Kenobi's freaking come at me pose with his lightsaber. I mean, it's essential for that. I think I did that here on the show, right? A few weeks back. Anyway, he's still in there. Yeah, he's still in there. What's this? California what? Need my bed frames made of California redwood because I'm a thick boy. Yeah, you are. Yeah. Your thighs alone would require that. My wife just walked into the lounge when you talked about making out with Keith on the couch, and she asked, what the hell are you watching? That's the first time for that. Usually it's somebody's kids walking in on their parents and just being like, why are you watching an old man play with action figures? It's like, whatever, kids. Hey there, Gina B. Collecting. Good to see you. Virtually. Yeah. Always good to have you here. BS about the narration being basic, the dialogue is outstanding. It's like reading a menu at a high-end restaurant where the description makes you want to order everything. About my narration being basic? Yeah? Oh, thanks, man. Like I said, I got a lot of accolades from Moff Gideon. I use a lot of 50-cent words in the Moff Gideon one, which I got the first draft in on time to have it released on Friday, but they had notes. There was some the helm. This thing attracts dust like you wouldn't believe. It's that glossy, super polished finish that they do on things like Darth Vader and a lot of the Star Wars dark side characters. And just like those, man, I mean, it seemed like every time I tried to clear dust off using one of these lint-free cloths, the cloths were clearly not lint-free. And it almost seemed like I made it worse every time I tried. So what you see is good enough. The dust is, when you see it, note that the dust is actually really, really tiny and almost invisible to the naked eye, but because I've blown the helmet up to almost the full screen, and you're watching it on a 27-inch screen in my case here, then it's like the helmet is very nearly life-sized at that point. At the very least, it's half-sized. So, you know, it's like, what, 3 times what would actually appear? It's magnified by 3 times, 4 times, 5 times sometimes. 5 times sometimes? Somatic satiation. Word becomes a sound. I love water. Thanks, man. It's actually picking some good tunes today, isn't it? I'm not feeling irritated by anything yet. I'm sure that time will come. Skipped breakfast this morning, going to get a box of Ghostbusters donuts on my way to... Ghostbusters donuts are a thing? I was not aware. I was not aware. You're being very wise on pulling back. I'm starting to pull back myself. Had to choose between Predator Samurai and Harley Artisan. Got Artisan, but was a very tough choice. Yeah, you know what, Lane? I've had the Predator Samurai, the original. And it's cool. It's really cool. But I found that once I got the photos done of it, I didn't need it anymore. So when I had an opportunity to make a trade with it, I did. Oh, you know what? I haven't even had time to pay attention to that, but I did see that Savage Press, the prototype of Savage Press was there. And I'm hoping that that's actually a thing. That's actually one of my top 5 bucket list Hot Toys figures that haven't been released. But yeah, he's pretty key. Savage Press, another one would be Visage Ventress. Definitely want to see her. Kind of want to see Fen Rao. Yeah, that would be an awesome one to have. And is that the Mandalorian Super Commando figure? Is that meant to be? God, I'm trying to remember the bad Mandalorian guy from Rebels, the one that Sabine had to fight for the Darksaber. And it's completely escaping my mind now. I find that it always does. I either forget his name or I forget Fen Rao's name. And now I'm forgetting that one. I'm sure somebody's going to say it in the comments. Huh. Yeah, that I would think that unless they had some device which was going to be able to actually print those donuts or whatever they do, then it's not going to work. It's like these people who work at Krispy Kreme are not artists by trade. So Gar Saxon, that's the one. That's the one I'm talking about. Is the Super Commando figure meant to be Gar Saxon? They never actually identify him as Gar Saxon in Ahsoka, so I don't know. I would love to know. Excuse me for 1 second. All this talk of donuts has me craving. Whoa, easy. It's been a while since you guys have had to watch me stuff my face with donuts on live YouTube. Figured, what the hell. And we caught up. Brilliant. You know what that means. Okay, that's what I thought, but still, you know, I was kind of hoping. And my other question is, and I don't know the answer to this, but do the Super Commandos take their look with the horns on the helmets from Darth Maul, from his species, from his look? Mm. Mike, you're here. When did that happen? Oh, did they showcase a Xenomorph? That's cool. Yeah, I think it's about time that we saw an updated Xenomorph. I'm interested to see if they've changed anything, how the engineering is on it. Dudes, if you have not had Frank's hot sauce on your jelly donuts, you're missing out. I don't care about Darth Talon, but I know she's really popular. If they wind up doing Aura Singh, I'd probably go that route. Yeah. Aura's a great character. I love her. Oh, Rook Cast would be great. Yeah. For the longest time, I thought Rook Cast was the armorer. And I'm not sold on the possibility that she's not. That would be really cool if she was. Huh. Okay. No, I didn't do 1030. What's going on, Michael? Always good to have you here. Doing great stuff with Spider-Man as usual. Yeah, I think it's Krispy Kreme that actually does this on a promotional basis. Like once a year, they have a jelly donut with Frank's hot sauce on it, and I can't remember if that's where I found out about it or if I found out about it from a different route. But yeah, hot sauce on a jelly donut, Frank's specifically. I've got a messy one. Okay. Well, we're already at the end of the comments. I'm trying to remember. Huh. That's 10:30. That's 10:30 Eastern time, right? Or did it say 10:30 Central? Weird. Anyway, I'm gonna get this done so I can get to doing my thing. I'm gonna try to do it without spilling anybody. I really need to dust my table. What's this? Dude, that one is a bitch. Yeah, and I don't know about you, but I use white cotton gloves because I have a latex allergy. And that's like impossible. It's not impossible because eventually I'm able to do it, but it's really difficult to use white cloth gloves on that polished surface, man. I mean, things just legitimately squirt out from between your fingers, man. It's really, really annoying. No, I don't even know what that is, but it sounds cool. So yeah, you'll have to tell me about it later, or share it with me or something, whatever. Yeah. Also, not sure if did anybody watch anybody watching the first look of tech? Did you hang on till the end of the video? Because I did a thing. And why is YouTube not cooperating with me here? Okay, let's see this. I'm just gonna send these two photos to me. No, not those photos. There we go. Boom. Messages. That's not it. By the way, I'm working on a thing for this. I think I'm gonna start hosting more guests, because I'm actually quite tired of being the only one talking on this show. And frankly, I'm running out of figures to pose. So I'm going to start bringing on friends who are into the stuff that I'm into, whether it's figure photography or just Star Wars in general, or motorcycles, or what have you. And just see where that goes. See if that's something people enjoy, or if it's something I enjoy. I'm really just, I want to bring more fun to this for me, because it gets hard to maintain, we'll say. Yeah, that's a whole thing. That's funny. You're funny, dude. Oh, that guy, the punk that got nerve pinched by Spock. Yeah, I think he was also, was he also in... Yeah, he was in Spider-Man Homecoming. When that one guy, with the high-pitched voice, he's got the food truck there, and he's like, "Hey, are you Spider-Man? Okay, Spider-Man, do a flip." The guy that's with him is holding a boombox. It's that guy. It's the Star Trek 4 punk in that scene, talking to that guy at the food truck. And then the boombox is like an homage to that. It's like he's an old man now and still doing the same stuff. Is this the? I'm guessing this is the Hot Toys version, right? Yeah, it would have to be. Let me see here. Okay. So, I had these things posed up. I was going to be doing... I tried to get all of the Night Owls into the shot with IG-12 that wound up featuring simply Bo-katan and Din Djarin. But it really looked crowded, and eventually, when I was doing a test spin of the turntable, she fell off and punctured a hole in the paper, in the backdrop, and I wound up having to like clear the entire table and reset the backdrop and everything. It was this whole tedious scenario. But my goal is here to basically get these two figures back to the poses that they were in when they were still in my dead top. And I thought, well, I need something to showcase on the show today. So, might as well be that. Kill two birds with one stone, right? Okay, let's just... I always like to inspect the figures when I get the opportunity, just to make sure nothing's going wrong. And everything seems to be okay here with her. So, when I did this... when I did this before... I didn't have to change anything. These are all the same hands, same accessories, everything that the original pose had. It's basically just her walking with a sultry sway to her hips, like a kick-ass, badass sway to the hips. And I'm basically going to try that again. See if I can't get that. So kind of going to get a little bit of a bend to the knee there, not too much. Have that foot planted fully on the ground. Then let's bring this leg up just a touch and back like she's carrying it forward. It's okay to have the tip on the ground. Anyway. And as a general rule, whichever foot is on the ground, that's the one with where the hip is going to be actually. If you cock the hips, which I like to do, then you're going to want the hip to be cocked towards the same foot that's actually on the ground. And let's see, doing this is kind of... It's possible I'm doing this wrong. I might have this backwards. No, I'm good. Tip that down, tip that down. Then you of course have to adjust the torso to compensate for the cocking of the hips. And I'm going to, like right now, you can see I've got her head just kind of straight up and down, but I kind of want to give her just a little bit of a tilt to the head, just to provide some attitude to it. Make sure that pistol is in alignment. She's going to be aiming slightly up, which is a habit I picked up. Believe it or not, it's a habit I picked up because one of the things I'm not allowed to do is to have a gun pointing at the camera. It's a Disney thing, which is totally fine. I get it. Anything that might induce trauma in somebody who's been, say, a victim of a school shooting, or that might encourage somebody who's unstable to be the next school shooter. Yeah. Even to this a ghost of a chance. Yeah, I don't want to be a part of that. So that's a good idea. I welcome it. I'm going to just try... Let's see here. I'm going to try arching her back just a touch. And bring down that arm to compensate. I'm trying to think who this band's reminding me of. Dream Theater. I'm gonna break that Darksaber. Just you watch. Get that, adjust that stand so that she's properly supported. Oh yeah, that's not right. Play around. Let's see. Okay, cool. I think that's done it. So that's Koska done. Again, I really... Eventually, if I keep doing this, I kind of want to, set up a different live stream setup in that studio back there. And do it in such a way that when I'm doing things like this, you get a better angle on the figure. Because I'm posing her in a specific way because what I'm thinking of is she's going to be on the top shelf of a dead top, which pretty much puts her at head height. So when I'm looking at her, this is the angle that I'm going to be looking at her in. And I do the same thing I do something similar with poses of figures on lower shelves. Now what I'm doing now is actually unswaying those hips a little bit because I think it was a little bit too much. Because it's almost like I'm looking at the line here and it looks like it's almost distorted. But I think this works. Yeah, that's better. Just put her in the center there so that she actually gets a good spin. Right? Yeah. I think that looks pretty natural. Oh, but speaking of that, there's a, I think it's the second pose in the Tech video at the end, where Tech is running, and I legitimately used, you know how they never really, in Star Wars animated stuff, they never really nailed the running of the characters, that there's just something janky about the way that the characters run. And I'm thinking that it's because they just had to basically animate it. I mean, they couldn't afford motion capture for this. They're supposed to be doing this on a budget. By the way, see what I did here? This is actually Bo-katan with Din Djarin's Darksaber, and I just used her. There's a hand she has for holding her communicator, and of course she has a gun hand, and that's what I used to have her wielding the Darksaber, and it worked. Getting the bottom part of the hilt into the left hand, the one that's meant to be holding the comlink, is hard. It's very hard. It takes enormous patience and effort to get it to do what it's supposed to do. Oh, what's going on with your thing here? Why are your knee pads crooked? God, janky design on these. Anyway, let's get that out of there. We don't need that Darksaber for what I had her in. And I hope that I still have. I just grabbed the box out of the studio. I hope that the wow, it's going to be just as hard to get this Darksaber out as it was to get it in. Okay, not so much. And my only concern was that I was going to harm it in doing all that, and I did not. D-ring is still on there. Everything is good. We still have a fully intact lightsaber, so that works. There's proof. So if you're thinking about doing something crazy like that with your Bo-katan, now you know it can be done. Just checking here. Yeah, Jazz Ink is just unaffordable for most people, but you get what you pay for. That being said, I never opened up I ordered Ray's speeder, and the first one that came in broken, and I tried to fix it with the help of Jazz Ink giving me advice, and I fucked it up. So they sent me a replacement, and I never opened it. So for all I know, that one's screwed up too. But I can't display it because of my company's embargo on unlicensed product. It's just sitting downstairs right now, unopened. Thanks, man. That's kind. Are these my own personal? Yes, always. Yeah, you might have missed it. You might have missed it. You might have missed it, Mitchell. But this is a repose. I had these off my shelf and was using them for a shoot for the IG-12 first look, and I wanted to put them back in poses that will fit into my Detolf for the Nine Owls display. Axe Wolves has already been reposed and put in there, but these two, well, I don't have a lot of time this weekend, and I wanted to get it done, and I did need a figure for the live stream. And I've been very vocal about this. I can no longer really afford to buy figures as frequently as I did, and I've run out of all my backups in the basement. I've already done shows on all of these, so yeah, this is just a repose sequence, and first of all, this is probably going to become more and more common. Reposing as opposed to posing up new figures. I'm not part of that crowd that feels the need to be up to date on things. I don't give a damn about that. I give a damn about the process. That's what I care about, the actual posing of the figures. I could do the same character every week, and it wouldn't affect me at all. I don't feel a drive to be a real drive to be that current. Otherwise, I just grab Tech from the back room right now and bring him out here and do him. But that's kind of a fuzzy gray area there that hasn't really been addressed between me and my employer. And again, I'm a fan of 6 scale, and my thing is posing, styling up these figures to make them look their best. And there are so many different ways that you can do that. So again, whether or not a figure is a current release or not means nothing to me. It means nothing to me. And there are plenty of other people who do that, and they're welcome to it. They are clearly they have more money than I do, clearly. If you can afford it, more power to you. Now, where are the hands I need? Well, this is going to be a setback. I was just back there looking for, well, that's actually a saber gripping hand. No, it isn't. That's the communicator hand. I was actually just looking for Bo's gun hands in the studio before the show and couldn't spot them, and then I remembered that I put a bunch of stuff back in the box, so I assumed that they'd be in here, and they are not. So that's going to put a damper on things, because the pose that I'm doing with her requires her to have both those pistol hands. So what can I do with what I've got? Okay. I've got relaxed hands and I've got fists. And I've got the comlink hand. And I've got the knife. Okay. Knife. Let's get rid of that. Thanks, Keith. I'm torn on the uniformity of these Mandos, not the figures or anything, just the in-universe. I like the lore of the Mandalorians being more individualized in their armor. Then you're not a Mandalorian fan. It's, my thoughts on that are, it tracks with everything we know about Mandalorians. That their armor would have a uniformity to it really tracks. Because it's almost like totems. Like the overall look is a style that's in line with their faith. And the armorers, of course, being their holy people. Place is really cluttered right now, and as such, it seems that you would have a uniformity, a general similarity of silhouette in the armor itself overall, with minor differences from clan to clan and even from individual to individual. When it comes to a group like the Night Owls, yeah, you would almost expect there to be a certain uniformity, but when I put these two side by side, look how different everything is. If you want to talk about uniformity, I mean, I'm seeing similarities in the breastplates and the pauldrons, but only similarities. Koska's are absolutely different from Bo's. Looks like the Van braces are very similar, if not identical, and of course the I can't remember what those are called. The top parts of the gauntlets. And of course the undersuits are the same. But that's just part of them being, I always saw that as just part of them being the same clan. So it made sense to me. And again, you see individual differences. You're able to, much like Sabine Wren did, you're able to bring your own element of style into it. Look what Boba Fett did with his father's armor, for God's sake. I mean, I legitimately prefer the look of Jango Fett's armor to that of Boba Fett. Trying to make sure I'm not breaking something here. I think that... Yeah, this can pop out. Somehow. Has to. There we go. Oh, where am I going to put that where I'm not going to lose it? That is like the tiniest piece in the history of pieces. Ugh. Man. There are no safe places here. Okay. I've never used this knife on my own personal figure. I've used it on sideshows, but never on mine. So, because it is so fragile. There we go. Alright, so I'm not going to use this pose for my death-off, but because I promised to pose during the show, I'm going to do a pose during the show. This is why I don't like to do this part right here, because it makes me really nervous. I'm very concerned that while putting this fist on, that my hands are going to slip, or the fist is going to slip, and I'm going to wind up breaking this knife. The ideal... Oh, ninja reflexes. Jedi training came through once again. I'm genuinely concerned that I'm going to break this thing. A heat gun would come in really handy right now. Go to your home, fist. You can do it. It's on there partway, but partway is not all the way. The other possibility is that I'm going to stab myself with this knife and draw some blood, which would make this show so much better. Okay. Let's just see if I can't get this one on too. Oh, dead air. I hate it. It's a good thing we got music. Yeah, these do not want to go on all the way. You can tell I've never used them before. Breaking in fists, man. Keith, you're up. This bedroom, IKEA bedroom antics are going to be awesome. Wow. That took some effort. Yeah, okay. So this is going to be pretty basic. Get her off the stand here. All right, this foot forward. This foot less forward. Torso twist. Bend that arm the full 90 degrees. Bring it back and up. Bend that arm about 45 degrees. Rotate her back and out. Yeah, that's still not all the way on that wrist peg. So annoying, but I can hide it with the other. Let me just try something there really quick and see how that looks. No, that's totally wrong. I had it right the first time. Sometimes I question my decisions when it comes to which direction to have a character moving. Crunch that torso, if it will. Yeah. All right. A little rotation there on that arm. Oh, look, it's a hair. That's another thing with these videos. Is the ever-present threat of hair. See that? Okay, looking at this, you can't see it from that angle, but let's see, there's the angle to the camera. I don't like having anything parallel to the ground. Anything at all if I can avoid it. So I'm just going to get her up a little bit more there. And when I'm looking at it from this direction, I want to try to avoid having the blade kind of disappear from the eye line. You see how when it's just flat like that, you can't actually see the width of the blade. It's much more menacing when you can see that blade protruding, and it would be protruding so much more if I could just get this hand to go all the way on. Yeah, it's clearly not on there all the way. There we go. I had to surrender my fear of being stabbed by the blade. Once I did that, it was like all over. So I can get that down some more. And her head up some more. Very important on figures like this with really tight ratcheted joints that when you make this kind of motion, to do so from as close to the point of the articulation as possible, because it's just, otherwise you, and I've done this many times, otherwise you will break the arm on the figure. I've done this while filming first looks. I'm trying to remember what they were. Oh damn, not only is this working, but it also maintains balance on its own. I love that. Let's see. Now ideally if I were doing this... Oh wait. I'm dumb. I actually do have a pistol. Grip. Pistol grip. I mean, but I'm just gonna stick with this one for now, for expediency, and just because it's actually kind of different. I've never done this before using the knife, but I can remember. Maybe I did on a first look or something, but if I did, I don't recall. All right, get you on there. Perfect height. Trying to get it in right under the belt so it doesn't dent the. I don't want that waist clamp denting Bo's, what do you call it, pouches any more than I have to. So. There we go. That's got a quality. Essentially what I did there at the end is I was noticing that she's kind of like right here from this angle, her thighs are kind of parallel, and I had her helmet facing, I'm just gonna spin her here real quick so I get it right. But I had her helmet facing this way, which means that this line right here was aligned with her face, which wasn't working for me. So just by twisting her a little bit more this way, and turning that head a little bit more that way, you get more of an asymmetry, and that just looks more attractive to me. So this is how this will look on the shelf if I did it, which I'm not. Again, I'm gonna, as soon as I find that other pistol grip, I'm going back to having Bo wielding with two guns. But that's how this would look. And one of the things that I did on the tech thing was did a little bit of exercise in posing for a team, and again, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I'm just going to go ahead and open these up right now so that I can show people who didn't actually see the first look, the sideshow first look video, which I get that not everybody watches those. Thank you for your support. Let's see here. Share screen. There we go. Oh, hang on. Before I do that, that's the second one I wanted to show. So this kind of a badly placed snapshot here of the first pose that I did, but you can still get the gist, I think, of what's going on. Yeah. The idea being that not everybody is doing the same thing. Every pose, every figure should be at least slightly different or noticeably different. If I had to point out any errors here on my part, it would be the position of Hunter's hand. You can't see the index finger, so you can't really see what he's doing, and it's kind of blending in with the antenna on Crosshair there. So I should have adjusted that a little bit more so that that wasn't quite so weird. But let's see if there's anything else. Oh, look at that! Crosshair's pistol is part way out of the damned holster. I'm just now seeing that. That's annoying as hell. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this one turned out. It was another important thing if you can do it, and pretty much everybody has issues with space, so it's almost unavoidable. But finding ways just to have the figures kind of blend into each other in the pose really suggests that team dynamic. If you have them isolated from each other completely, then you miss out on that. But just look at comic book artwork of superhero teams, cover art, what have you, and you'll see the artists do that a lot. It's just a means of tying the team together, identifying them as a cohesive unit, and it's really important to do something like that. Another thing that's really important is to try to have all the guns, weapons, anything that might be featured in the hands to be at different angles, and also those angles should be leading into the members of the team. When you're looking at this angle right here of the gun, it's leading down there. This one is leading towards Hunter and Wrecker. Wrecker's just leading right to himself. But everything should do that in so much as you're able. Even Echo's, Five's, even Echo's little tool there is doing the same thing. And then of course there's this one. Yeah. That one, I legitimately teared up while I was doing this. I did. It got me emotionally. I'm getting a little choked up looking at it right now. I was really unhappy that the Tech lost his life in the show, and the way that he went out, and the time that he went out. He's very clearly on the spectrum, and he was really starting to connect with what's her name, that awesome goofy Indiana Jones analog, in a way that I don't know, was really touching. But yeah, and that specifically is a separate head of Wrecker that I have, that I bought specifically to be able to really shove that helmet down onto him without worrying about damaging the original head. So that is a damaged head that I made damage further. I might grind that thing down in order to get that helmet down even further on his head than it already is, but for now it's okay. In fact, I should probably, just to give you the full picture, speaking of lost pieces, I can't find my my Hunter portrait. That's why Hunter still is wearing his helmet in that portrait. I legitimately spent, and I didn't tell my bosses, I told them I spent an embarrassing amount of time looking for it, but I spent over 2 hours looking for Hunter's portrait and never did find it. I've looked everywhere that I can think, and the only thing I can think of is that I accidentally sent it back to Sideshow with other figures. Like maybe in Crosshair's box, or who else have I done? Wrecker. No, I've still got Wrecker, so it would have to have been in Crosshair, because I don't think I did their Echo. And he's actually off, so I got to adjust him. It's a good thing I brought him out, just because he is not right. His pose is right, or maybe it isn't. Maybe I need to. That's kind of cool. Adjusting on the fly, not adjusting the fly, although sometimes I have to do that as well, but not now. I'll let Keith do that later. Come on, man. There you go. I know you can do this. All right, spin it. Yep. All right, so here we go. This is my potentially, if I don't find that other pistol, potentially my new 9 ounce pose setup and my detail from my bedroom. So it's kind of like getting a room tour, only without the room. All those people. Oh wait, sorry, didn't realize I was still presenting here. Let's see. Let's stop that screen. Now you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just gonna check. It'll be so much better when I get the guns, but for now it's kind of cool. Straight to the camera, that looks pretty good. But again, same thing. You can see that He's aiming slightly left. She's, yeah, slightly left. She's aiming slightly right. And Bo would have been, I want to say that I had one gun like down here in her hand, like she was just raising the one gun and firing with it. But yeah, that's a good example. I like that. Switch focus. How'd that? That can happen. She would do that for him. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, there's just something super sneaky and badass about it. It's not the next level, like say the toe knife, the boot knife in the toe. Was that? Oh, that was Joker that had that. Yeah, neat trick. Oh, got it. Okay, yeah. Let me go back up here and see what if I left behind any comments. Is that a local lottery? I'm not aware. If after this divorce, I have every intention of doing some traveling, and I'm looking for a house sitter if anybody's available. I think I have somebody who would be good for it. Friend of mine's actually taken a year off of work. She had a parents died, and there was an estate, and she had enough left over where she could afford to take off a year of work and focus on her writing. And I'm like, that's inspirational. I'm going to do something similar, only I'm going to travel for a couple weeks. Oh, yeah. No, sorry, man. Yeah, those are long gone. I don't have to tell you that. You know. Oh, I know what to do with this. Yeah. That little tiny piece can just fit back in where the knife was, and it has its own little protective topper. There we go. Yeah. Oh, that takes a load off. All right, guys. Dobby didn't eat all of his breakfast. Yeah, there's enough differences in the armor that I'm not concerned about it. I don't think it's a cause for concern. You know what I don't like about this pose? Is that it looks like a pose. It does. It legitimately looks like she's just standing there posing for the camera. And I don't like that. But the thing about having a knife out like this is that it's the only way you could really make it work, or in the way that I would want it to work, is if there was somebody for her to be in combat with, stormtrooper or an opposing Mandalorian clan or whatever. I am not collecting Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it's still on the list, but here's the thing. When I made that list of Grail pieces that if I acquire them all, I'd stop collecting completely, it meant something more then, because I was collecting a lot. But now that I'm basically not collecting much, like a figure a month at best. It's been a couple months, I think, since I've had a new figure. And now that I'm at that point, then it's like there's no point in doing that. It's like I've reached critical mass here with the number of collectibles that I have. And it doesn't make any sense to get any more. So. Yeah, they really are. It's but it's where I'm happiest. Yeah, I've actually been building that. Wish I knew how to do this better. I've actually been building this in my mind for a long time. Like these characters have been in these poses for months, waiting on tech to be in this pose. This has been in my head for a long time. This is how I wanted it to look. And it's great to just finally have that vision realized. In fact, I think that what I need to do next, actually the funny thing is that in order to do this, which was a last minute decision on my part, like legit, I was ready to go into editing. I was partway through editing, ready to wrap it up. And I was like, wow, wouldn't it be cool if I did this pose? And then I had the idea of doing it as a post-credits pose, or after the fake end screen started to come across, then backed off. It was absolutely imperative that I did it. But I had to break down every one of these poses that I've spent literal weeks perfecting and have been in my mind for so long before I could, in order to do this pose. And now I have to do all of this all over again. So maybe that'll be the subject of next week's video. I don't know. If I don't find the time to do it this week because of divorce crap or whatever, then maybe that's what I'll do. Don't know. Don't know. Let's see. Let's go back to this. Oh, thanks, man. You should check it out. I'm really happy with it. I'm really proud of it. I did something totally different that I never thought they'd approve of. I never thought they'd approve of it. And when it's like I set it off and was just like, just cringed. Like, I can't believe I just did that. They're going to hate me. But they went for it immediately. Ha! The Apple box hasn't been in this room in a long time. Yeah, maybe. No. But it's a good idea. Thanks, Beskar. I think you called that out in the comments on the video, didn't you? I appreciate that. It's always good to have stuff like that. Yeah. Can't hurt. Or maybe it can. I don't know. I think Sideshow wants to avoid having a cult of personality surrounding any of its hosts. But and I get that. I think that's a good idea. I'm not interested in being a cult personality. Well, yeah. Bring her to IKEA. All right, guys, I'm gonna let y'all go. It's been what? Yeah, right over an hour. That's awesome. Shortest stream I've had in a long, long time, but I needed a short stream today. So thank you for tuning in. Sorry that I didn't get around to doing 3 strikes again today, but again, for brevity, I'm kind of glad that I forgot to. And also, I just don't... Yeah. We'll talk about TV shows another time. By the way, if you're not watching... On that note, if you're not watching Slow Horses on Apple TV+, you're robbing yourself. If you like spy thrillers at all, this is first-rate spy thriller goodness. I love every bit of it. Anyway, take care, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the week between the weekends. Be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. And as always, be good to your plastic. Bye. Cool.